Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So for this video is been long in the making, and that is the Book of Boba Fett. As you guys have probably noticed by now, I haven't been making episodes or videos on the Book of Boba Fett just because I haven't really noticed anything to really talk about in this series. But with the last few episodes that have been released, I now finally have something that we can talk about and go over. And for those who watched the Book of Boba Fett, you probably already know what I'm talking about, and that is the last episode that was released on Disney Plus, and that is episode 6, where it was just such a beautiful episode. I mean, right from the beginning to seeing Mando again, R2, Ahsoka, and Grogu, and my favorite, Luke Skywalker. This episode felt like a true Star Wars story with amazing characters, and it was such a beautiful sequence altogether. And the fact that we even got to see Luke and how much he has grown from the last time we seen him in Return of the Jedi to right now, which I believe was 4, 5, 6 years ago, and to seeing his progress and how much he has grown, and now seeing Luke teach Grogu some of the things that he learned when Yoda was training Luke, it's very heart-touching for me, and it made me very emotional while watching the episode. But as you guys probably guessed from the title of this video, we are going to be talking about the ending scene of the Book of Boba, where Luke presents Grogu with two options to pick up Mando's armor that was given to Grogu and choose the way of the Mandalorian, or pick up Yoda's lightsaber and choose the path of the Jedi. Now, before we get any further, I think that this option was an amazing, wise move by Luke to present Grogu with these two options, to not just let Luke choose his path, but let Grogu choose his own path, and to see what he really wants to do. Now, this is a big cliffhanger for us viewers and kind of dictates the rest of the Star Wars series leading up to whenever the sequels start. Well, I have two theories on what Grogu will choose: the path of the Mandalorian or the way of the Jedi. My first theory that I have is that Grogu will grab both the lightsaber and the armor, telling Luke that he doesn't really know what he wants specifically, but he's telling Luke that he wants the Force to guide him on what path that he should take. Now, my second theory on this is that Grogu will grab none of the items and will go into a panic mode and probably pass out, and that will tell Luke that Grogu is not ready to make this type of commitment yet, and that will also tell Luke that he should probably bring him to the Mandalorian than to train him as a Jedi if he is so broken from his past or whatever is bothering him. Now, we are going to be talking about both of these series and what I think about them and how they will lead into the next episode and how they will lead into like Mando season 3 and the rest of the story. Starting with my first choice, Grogu will grab both Yoda's lightsaber and the armor, being unsure of what he really wants out of his life. This, I believe, will immediately tell Luke on what he should do for Grogu. I believe that Luke will take Grogu to Tatooine to see the Mandalorian, reassuring himself on what Grogu really wants to do, and to really see if Grogu wants to be with Mando or he wants to choose the path of the Jedi. Now, we can quite possibly see the reunion between Luke Skywalker and Boba Fett, considering the last time they seen each other, it was 5 years ago in Return of the Jedi, when Boba almost got eaten by the Snarlack and, from what we know, died. We can then see Luke go into Jabba's palace, giving us some nostalgia from the movies. Now, it would be great to see Luke go into Jabba's palace, reunite with Boba Fett, and give us that nostalgia again from the movies, but we would really be focusing on Grogu's choice and his thoughts on seeing the Mandalorian again after all of this time. And I believe after Grogu sees the Mandalorian and what happens in episode 7, he will really be able to decide whether if he really wants to be with the Mandalorian or if he wants to choose the path of being a Jedi. Now, when Luke and Grogu arrive to see Mando, which will probably be at Jabba's palace, where we will see Boba and Luke reunite, it'll probably be around the time the war is about to begin between Boba, Mando, and Bane and everyone else, where we will then get to see Grogu realize the significance of his powers, and then we will get to see Grogu realize that he should be going back with Luke to start his Jedi training, promising to the Mandalorian that they will see each other soon, probably in a decade or two, but we know that we'll probably see both of them together properly in Mando season 3, which I have my own speculations on how we will properly see Mando and Grogu together again in Mando season 3, which I will talk about in a different video, so make sure to have your notifications turned on to see when that video drops. And Grogu will realize that he has to go back with Luke, probably when Mando is in some type of danger or he's on the verge of death, where Grogu will probably have to save Mando by using the Force or using the darksaber, which would be really, really cool to see Grogu use the darksaber to save the Mandalorian and to wield it better than Mando ever could. And then we'll get that emotional scene where Grogu will see Mando, and then we'll have that eye-to-eye contact where Grogu will promise to see Mando someday, and we'll go back to Luke to finish his Jedi training, which will be a beautiful sequence and a beautiful ending to the Book of Boba Fett, leading us on to Mando Season 3, where we could possibly see Grogu, Luke Skywalker, and Mandalorian all together again, kicking off that series. But if Grogu never did grab Yoda's lightsaber or the armor and did have a panic attack and passed out, then that would probably tell Luke that he just needs to continue training Grogu and to develop his powers and abilities more before pressuring Grogu to make that choice himself. What Luke will do is he will probably help Grogu remember his time at the Jedi Temple before Order 66 and to really remember some of the things that he was taught, probably by Master Yoda, and that will determine whether if he wants to be a Jedi or if he wants to follow Mandalorian. Now, I do feel like Grogu will have a vision of Mandalorian possibly dying, and Grogu will again go into a panic mode and will leave Luke Skywalker to then go see Mando to save him. Kinda how Luke did with Master Yoda when Luke had a vision of Han and Leia when they were about to die. So he left Master Yoda to go save them and then to come back to his training. I feel like Grogu will do that sort of thing where he will leave Luke to save Mando, then to come back to Luke, but then when he leaves to go see Mando, Luke will already know that his decision was to leave Luke Skywalker and to choose the path of the Mandalorian. So when Grogu comes back to see Luke Skywalker, Luke will not take Grogu as his Padawan anymore because he already chose to see Mandalorian. And that can go in its own direction and paths and set us up for Mando Season 3 too. But my opinion, I like both of these options. I feel like both of these are close to Star Wars related. They're not too out of the ordinary. They stick to Star Wars. They stick to the theme of it, and it really develops Grogu's character. But despite whatever path Grogu decides to choose, if he wants to choose the way of the Jedi or if he wants to go with the Mandalorian, no matter what he chooses, I will be right beside Grogu on whatever path he wants to choose, whether if it's the Jedi or the Mandalorian path. Both of these situations are great, but what do you guys think about this entire situation? Do you think Grogu will choose the way of the Jedi and pick up Yoda's lightsaber? Or do you think he will choose the way of the Mandalorian and pick up the armor that was given to him? If I'm being true to myself, I really don't know what Grogu will choose, if he will go to the Jedi or be a Mandalorian. I just came up with two theories and two stories that we could potentially see in the next episode, the final episode of the Book of Boba Fett, that will determine what happens in Mando Season 3. But if I'm being true to myself, I really don't know what Grogu will choose or what he will do. It's kind of interesting to see Grogu literally holding the future of Star Wars in the palm of his hands and literally choosing what happens with the rest of the series. I do have one more video I want to talk about before episode 7 of the Book of Boba Fett comes out, and I'm very excited for you guys to see it. Hopefully you guys really like it and enjoy it as much as I do. But that is the end of this video. What do you think Grogu will choose? Do you think he will choose the way of the Mandalorian? Or do you think he'll pick up Yoda's lightsaber to then start his training? Or maybe he will pick up both of the armor and the lightsaber and then not know really what to do, and seeing where they go with that will be pretty interesting as well. And also, what do you guys think about the last episode of the Book of Boba Fett? I mean, that episode was so beautiful and so heart-touching for me, but I'd love to know you guys' opinions in the comments below. And until next time, my fellow Jedi and Sith friends, the Force will be with you always.